And this is in Wisconsin at an Amish farm. They're Amish horses. So this is a pairing in the book that, I like this contrast between this sort of the quality meats and this play between, it's a sleeping lion and this, the meat. The lion would certainly love some meat. And so I like that specific pairing on the page. And then this is the next one in the book where I had this link between this spread and how they interacted with one another and what that said to this spread where this is a dead animal and he's reminds me kind of the furriness of the lion, but he's a raccoon at the beach at Montrose, like as if he's meat or something. And then this too is a spread from the book where my daughter is confronting the camera and she's looking right at us, and then the scale difference between the little Moldorama dinosaur and this is euthanized on the left, and we euthanized our dog Jack. He was 15, and so it was a really sad day, but this interplay between the two pictures and how they interact with one another. And then this is, again, how they together. And I started talking a little bit about how I wanted to work the very edge of the project of what you could read as an animal. So these two are more difficult read. They're hides and this deer. You can see the feet of this deer, a doe actually, or a fawn actually, underneath this box at the Nature Museum, and hidden, like let's hide the remains. So this edge of understanding of needing the title, where this is burying Jack, and that you don't know, the title is helpful. So I wanted, the newer pictures actually really push that to where you look at the title and you read into that understanding of what's going on, So we took Jack up and buried him, and I just love her gesture on the box that's like showing her ownership. Because she really believes Jack was her dog. She was mad. And this is, again, called Bird Hit. And it's just the feathers. I was eating lunch, and I heard a big thunk, and the bird feathers remained. And the bird didn't die, actually. And I photographed the bird as well. But that 100,000 birds at a minimum die in New York City a year from hitting windows. I just read that. Did you guys just read that in Harper's? I thought it was sort of funny that I just got that and just read it. I'm like, oh, thank you. I could use that information. 100,000 birds at minimum. Oops. And then this again is how the spreads work. That the surfaces of both pictures, this glass reflective surface, and that you can read deeper into it, or you can read it on the surface, that it's the bone in ham and then the bird hit, but yet let's read a little bit more what's going on behind that. So now I will tell you about this. Last summer I went to Louisiana. Well, some of you know about this, to photograph something from the oil spill, and it was still gushing at the time that I went. And I felt very compelled to include a photograph from the oil spill because of what it represented, the most glaring example of our interaction with animals and impact on animals run amok, this negative impact on an entire region. You might know this, but I'm sure most of you have heard this, how the marshland is disappearing, it's sinking, and that this engineering feat of controlling the Mississippi has backfired because it should migrate, like within 100 miles, the delta is supposed to move, but now it's staying in the same spot, so all that rich silt is just falling right off the continental shelf into the deep water, and so all the marshland is not being replenished. There's no flooding that occurs. They control the flooding. So it's a mess. They want to fix it, but I don't know how they ever will. So I learned so much about it. So all this marshland that's disappearing is affecting the birds that migrate. They don't have anywhere to go. And in the last 20 years, only 20 years, half of the birds that used to migrate are not. They have a radar that reads the amount of birds that migrate. So it's declined by half. So until I went down there, I had no idea what was going on. And the people down there were so great. And this picture is of an oiled sea turtle. So I was on this hunt I had no idea what I was going to find. I just went down there and with this hope that something would work for the book that would represent this. And it was like a needle in a haystack to find this because it was like a military state down there. They really had tight security. Any move I would make, I got pulled over all the time and stopped and watched. It was very creepy. And so I found this acre. It's called the Audubon Center for Research of Endangered Species. And it was impossible to find because it's on Coast Guard land, and which is like you can't Google. Like it's not on, it's just sort of hidden. And I finally found it, and I couldn't get in because you need to be like Philippe Cousteau, who was in there actually the day I was trying to get in. The guard told me, he's like, Philippe Cousteau's in there. So, which was kind of cool, you know, but I couldn't get in, and I was like, damn it, but at least I found it. I was going to photograph the fence with the stop and the whole thing. And then this guy drives up in his pickup. He says, I have a sea turtle to turn in. And he's from the Louisiana Fish and Wildlife Department. And I was like, can I photograph your sea turtle, please? Like, his name was Greg Goodspeed, and he said, sure. And I said, can you hold it? He's like, I'm not taking it out of the bag. And it had an evidence form, the sea turtle. It was fascinating. This whole thing was so fascinating. And so I said, please hold that up for me. And I kept asking him. I'm like, can you move a little bit this way? And, you know, I was really putting myself out there because I normally am like, I don't know, I would have just done it and been nervous and left and not gotten the shot, potentially. That could have potentially happened, but I didn't care. I was like, hold it, you know, try this again. And I'm like, let me reload one more time. So he held it for me, and I felt like that's my picture, that this is why I came down, because I love sea turtles. They're prehistoric, and they were so impacted. This is the spread, the sequence, where it goes from that one to that one, so it really talks about this sacredness, I think, and that they're both in plastic, and I liked putting those together.